All right, Clayton Mathis in the house, episode 4 of Shop Talk. Man, I know you got a crazy busy schedule. We really appreciate you taking a few minutes to come across the bridge, hang out with us, and let's get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We were just talking right before the podcast got going, and we've got some mutual friends that we've met through our businesses.
Yeah.
Michael Penley and a bunch of others.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I was starting to think about the list of folks I want to interview, you were already on mine, and he messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, you need to get Clayton on there." I was like, "This is already a done deal, bro. Like we're doing it for sure, for sure."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have to tell Mike thanks for looking after me, man.
They're good folks, man.
Yeah, they are.
So like every interview we do, we keep them real short, keep them brief, keep them fun. My goal is just to highlight some of the cool people I meet through the shop. Some small businesses in the area, things like that. And if there's one thing that brings people together other than coffee, is good cold beer. And you have the Apalachicola Yacht Club, Watercraft Brewery, but just like myself, I'm not originally from here. You're not originally from the Forgotten Coast. You're from South Carolina.
Yeah.
So what was it like going up to South Carolina, and what drew you to the Forgotten Coast initially? Because you didn't move down here and start brewing beer out of the gate, right?
No, I did not.
So what's the short version of that story?
Man, so I grew up in South Carolina, small town, grew up on a farm, and I moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and went to Coastal Carolina University. Go Chanticleers in the College World Series right now.
Let's go.
Got to beat up on LSU the next couple of games. But went to Coastal Carolina University and went to school most of the time.
And what'd you say?
And I studied business management.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what I do too. So I met Carrie there.
Who you're now, is your wife?
Yes, my wife.
Congratulations on that.
Yes, thank you very much. And when she graduated, she moved to a little town called Apalachicola.
Did her job bring her here as a marine biologist?
Yes. So she got her master's in coastal marine and wetland studies.
Okay.
And she came down here, and it took me a couple of years after that. Okay. But I did follow her down here. So it was a woman who brought me down here in the first place. But man, how can you not move down here and just fall in love with this place?
Right.
It is just such a beautiful place. And it kind of reminds me of home a little bit, but it's closer to the water.
Man, that's exactly what I tell people when they're like, "Why'd you move here? And what got you here?" And I'm like, "Well, we started vacationing here 8 or 9 years ago. Like you, I grew up on a farm. Went to the big city thing and hated it. Well, my mom's from Savannah, so I grew up going to Tybee Island every summer. And some of my best childhood memories are the beach, small coastal town."
Yep.
I'm telling you, bro, the first visit down, I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know Apalachicola existed," because in college we went to Panama City. We wanted all that, right? But at some point, you fall in love with that small town. I think a lot of us, we like to get out of our small towns and go spread our wings a little bit. But then at some point, you want to get back to that community, nature, things like that, all that stuff that we have here.
Yeah, I mean, after Myrtle Beach, I spent time in Charlotte, North Carolina. Talk about big cities, Charlotte, North Carolina, a year there, a little over a year in Raleigh, North Carolina. And you get caught up in that rat race, sitting in traffic.
Oh, buddy.
And going. And now, you hop in the car and drive a mile to work, drive a mile back. Man, it doesn't get much better than that.
You're right, man. I was, I was working at a hospital in Atlanta, and traffic all day, bumper to bumper. And now my commute's 10 minutes from Appalach to East Point, and there's bay. There's birds.
That's a beautiful ride too, like man.
The sunset coming to work, and the sunrise coming to work, the sunset going home from work. And we're really fortunate, man. And sometimes, I'll take some of my jiu-jitsu students home or whatever, and I'm like, you don't realize how beautiful it is and how fortunate you are to like grow up here.
I know.
And I got 2 boys, and I'm really excited to get to grow up here too.
And we found it at a young age. So many people who we share this community with, and come buy your coffee and drink our beer and our cocktails. They don't find this until retirement. Right. Don't get to enjoy an area like this until retirement.
Right.
So we kind of found it at a much younger age.
We did. I think it was like the right age.
Yeah.
It's the right age.
Yeah.
So you got down here, and correct me if I'm wrong, did you used to work at like Rite Aid or something?
CBS.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was kind of the job that got me.
Yeah. Right.
I had to find a job before I came down here. But, so I applied, got the job, and I came down here and I said, okay, I'm going to start in October. I moved in here in August, and I kept pushing them off a little bit because I was just enjoying sitting on the beach and, fishing and really falling in love with this area. So I did end up going to work for them, I think, in November.
Okay.
So I had about 4 months here where I just really got to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And worked there for a little while, and it just didn't suit me very well. And they had opened a brewery. Rex and Cassie and Susan, Shelley, and all those guys had opened up a brewery. And I just went and said, I want to work for you.
Yep.
And then, kind of the rest is history from there.
So what was that learning curve like brewing beer? Were you a home brewer to begin with, or did you just kind of jump into the deep end? Like, here we go.
That's what they said. They said, well, you know about beer. I said, I know how to drink it, and I'm good at it. So that was pretty much it. But they handed me a stack of books. I read books and just jumped right in and ran with it. And we did that for so long. And then the opportunity came about a year and a half ago to take that corner and turn it into Watercraft Brewing Company. And that's been great. And I think the beer that we're brewing right now is better than any beer I've ever brewed.
I may have to agree with that.
I think it's continuously getting better.
I think that, yeah. And you're like me, man. We don't consider ourselves masters of the craft, I don't think, but we're in that constant pursuit of perfection. And even though our customers tell us, oh, wow, this is the best IPA I've ever had, or the best latte, we appreciate that, but we want to make it better.
Yeah.
And so we're always nerding out.
Next time you come, it's going to be better.
I believe it. So I got 2 boys, and, people are always like, who's your favorite kid? Is there a favorite kid? Well, one's 8 months old, so I can't tell you right now. Well, right now it's Henry because he's the one that sleeps at the house. You got Watercraft, you got the Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite that you'd like to spend more time at, be more involved in? Because obviously you're heavily involved in both. These are both your babies. Is there one for any other reason why you prefer to be kind of behind the scenes brewing, or do you prefer to be at like the Yacht Club, talking to people, meeting people?
So Yacht Club's air conditioned.
There you go. That's a good one.
That makes a pretty big decision there. So I usually spend my mornings in the brewery brewing. And then once they open those doors and that heat wave starts busting in, especially at this time of the year, I usually try to get out of there and head to the Yacht Club. But, I've got, my wife is, of course, and your wife is, of course, that's your main love, and your kids and your family. Right. Those are your love. But beer and music are my 2 loves in life, and that I'm so passionate about and that I love. So I wouldn't say that like one is more my baby than the other, but right now, I do like spending a little bit more time at the Yacht Club because of that reason. But, brewing beer in the morning, bartending sometimes, and listening to great music in the evening, man, I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
I'm with you, man. And that's kind of how it is at the shop here. I love being at the front, meeting folks, especially this time of year. It's so busy. You're meeting people from all over. We've got international travelers coming through on a holiday, and it's so cool to just hear different accents and hear different stories. But it is also nice to get in the back, crank some music, and just get on that roaster for a while and kind of pump that out as well. But like I was saying at the very beginning, man, is coffee and beer seem to bring people together. And I think that's probably my favorite thing. And this is a thing you'll hear us harp on throughout this conversation and this podcast series is people coming together. You get on the news these days, you get on YouTube for 5 minutes or Facebook for 5 minutes, and it seems like it's my team versus your team. But in my experience at this shop, and every time I'm at the Yacht Club, you have people coming together, man. And there's just that sense of community. We're laughing together, we're having fun, we're cutting up. And I think this past Monday at the Kill the Drill initiative was epitomized that. We had everybody in the community coming together for this bigger cause, trying to save our natural resources, saving our river. And you guys are gracious enough to host that celebration at your place. And it's a cool thing, man.
Yeah, it is. And, with Watercraft, you got the limited space right there. That corner is an iconic corner. It's been the center of this town, for so long.
Right.
And we're so happy to have it. But you've got that limited space there. So with the Apalachicola Yacht Club, it's helped us open it up to events like that, and supporting things like that the community supports. Yes. Like you say, people from both sides of the aisle coming together, and we can agree on this. Yep. And that was something we wanted to do with the Yacht Club. The idea of an old pub, that's a public house.
Yep.
It's a bar, yes. And it's a live music venue, yes. But it's a place for people to come together and, talk about things, or do the Kill the Drill rallies, or do fly ties, or, we do in a farmer's market sometimes on Mondays now. And it's not just a place to come get a drink.
Right.
It's a place that we can hopefully continue to build this community up, because that's why everybody loves this. The community here is amazing.
100%.
And when they can get together and get behind something and build each other up, I mean, that's, it's great.
Yeah, and that is especially true at the yacht club. It's such a family environment, and like the music's not even too loud. You're in there, I can see all the time with your iPad, you're dialing it in just right to where it's loud enough for those in the front, but if we're in the back with our 8-year-old or whatever, it's not, overbearing. And there's a lot of stuff to do outside. You got cornhole and other, fun stuff to do outside. And it's awesome. So do you have a favorite beer that you like to brew? Because I've got like a couple beans in mind that I love to roast them. I love to drink them. Do you have a favorite that you enjoy brewing the most?
So one thing I didn't get to do a lot in previous brewing is brew a lot of lagers, because lagers, they're bottom fermenting, they're fermenting at cold temperatures, they take longer, they need conditioning time in the tank. So now that we aren't distributing any beer and we're mainly doing everything right there, then we have a lot more time to make lagers. I was such an IPA guy for so long, and I still am. I'll have an IPA or two to start and then finish out with lagers. And I've just really, really enjoyed brewing things like a Kolsch or a Helles. We brewed a really nice 4% lager called One More. We've got a lime lager.
Those are great for summer.
Yes, they are. And, they're just really crushable and easy, high carbonation. It's just really good. And so those lagers of my favorite is a dark lager that we have available right now. So I hope to be able to experiment more with those. It's not a really fast moving beer, not a popular beer, but we're going to keep those lagers pumping, man.
That's awesome. That's good to hear, man. So you guys have food trucks now. I know Taqueria de Apalachi's down there.
Yeah, we got Francisco
maybe the
down
best
there.
Tacos I've had, man. I especially when they were a little closer to the house.
Yeah.
I was crushing them once or twice a week, man.
I know.
I think we had a first name basis.
I better sit up because I've been eating quite a bit of his quesadillas and his tacos and everything else, burgers and stuff. So, it's nice to have Francisco down there and a consistent presence. We had rotated trucks in, and they were great food and everything, but having a consistent truck down there so we can hold people in there and, keep people satisfied with good food.
Yeah.
They'll drink a couple more beers.
That's right. Well, what else we got going on with any new developments, any new beers you're excited about as we wrap this up? Is anything exciting going on?
So we're starting to make seltzers. I never wanted to make seltzers, but it's kind of the way we got to do it. And this will be the third one that we're making now. And I think I've kind of got it down a little bit better. So we're making some seltzers, fruited. Like I said, we got more lagers coming. We've got 17 beers on draft right now. And we're going to keep that. And then we did obtain our federal and our state permits for distillation. So we're waiting on label approvals and formula approvals and a couple of finishing touches, and we'll be producing spirits and watercraft, and we're really, really excited
I'm really excited about that. Any bourbon on the horizon?
So we're gonna do that, but the problem with that is we got to stick it in a barrel and age it for 2 to 4 years, and so that's gonna be coming. But you're gonna still be around. I'm gonna still be around here. I'm not going anywhere.
Me neither.
So we'll plop some in that. We'll start out with vodka, gin, rums, and try to include some local ingredients in some of those down the line as well. And that's what we're really excited about, watercraft. And then the yacht club, we're trying to do, the leaning into that farmer's market, leading into weddings and event venue rentals and things, and just having really great music and doing some more things like those Kill the Drill rallies and just supporting our community the best we can.
I love it, man. Coffee, local craft beer, bringing folks together. Clayton, I appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, man.
Enjoyed it, man.
I appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
We'll drink a beer next time.
You got that right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.